This review is made possible by Toyota of Naperville. Toyota of Naperville is the largest Toyota dealer in Illinois with hundreds of new and used vehicles in their inventory. Visit www.toyotaofnaperville.com or in person at 1488 West Ogden Avenue in Naperville, Illinois.
Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I have a very special video for you guys. Today I'm doing a dual review. Toyota recently redesigned the Toyota Highlander, and so because I have such a great relationship with the Toyota dealer, I asked them for a 2019 pre-redesign and a 2020, which is the redesigned model, so I can compare the two. And so how this video is going to work is right now I'm driving the 2019 Toyota Highlander that will be signified by the little icon down in the bottom right hand corner. When I jump over to the 2020, obviously that will change. And so if you are looking to compare, should I buy the 2019, should I buy the 2020, what are the differences, why did they redesign it, things like that, then this is the video for you. So getting that out of the way, right now I am driving a 2019 Toyota Highlander Limited. Up front is a 3.5 liter V6 and down below is an 8-speed automatic transmission. And now I'm driving a 2020 Toyota Highlander Limited all-wheel drive. Up front is a 3.5 liter V6 and down below is an 8-speed automatic transmission.
This video is sponsored by CarMarshal.com. If you'd like to support the channel, click the link down in the description below. CarMarshal.com advertises for over 100,000 vehicles across the US.
Now, here in the 2019, the 3.5 liter is something of bread and butter of Toyota. They've used this in the Tacoma, they've used this in the Sienna. Some Camrys get the optioned engine. I mean, this is a very thought through, very worked through engine. A lot of Lexuses have this too. I'm just now remembering the IS300 has this, Lexus RXL. A lot of chassis have this exact same engine, and so it has a lot of research and design and things like that. It's a very solid engine. It's a very solid drivetrain. And I like the fact that this is a V6. But let's hop over to the 2020 and talk about that engine. In the 2020, we actually do have essentially the same 3.5 liter V6. Again, like I said with the 2019, it's actually a good thing. I like having the comfort of driving a vehicle with an engine that has lots of R&D behind it. Like I mentioned with the 2019, this has been put into every single chassis. This has been put into so many different vehicles that when a part goes wrong, part breaks, whatever it may be, the parts are very plentiful. And I like that a lot. Now, like I said, here in the 2019, we do have an 8-speed automatic transmission. Nothing really too crazy. I'm not noticing any weird flukes, any weird bumps, gurgles, or pops. And so I really like that with the 8-speed. Here in the 2020, the transmission is also the same. 8-speed automatic. Doesn't burp, jingle, or squeal either. So both drivetrains are very nice. Last but not least, this is all-wheel drive. And so that I really like. You know, if you're going to get a big SUV like this, I think you should get it in all-wheel drive. But that's my own personal opinion, and at least this does have that. Now, before we hop back to the 2020, currently, right now, the 2020 is not offered in a hybrid. The 2019 was offered in a hybrid. I'm sure a hybrid is coming. I mean, the Toyota dealer in Naperville only has 3 2020s in so far. They're just starting to trickle into dealerships, and they don't quite have the hybrid quite ready yet. But once they do, I'll hop in and do a hybrid review. But this body style, the 2019 here, was offered in a hybrid. So if hybrid is something you absolutely need and you need to buy right now, the 2019s have that. The 2020 also all-wheel drive. So here in the 2020, we don't actually have a hybrid version quite yet. They have not hit the Toyota dealers quite yet, but that is okay. So let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 2 gauges. On the left is my tachometer. On the right is my speedometer with coolant temperature in the tachometer and fuel in the speedometer, as well as the center screen. I can scroll through a couple different things. I'm looking at my audio right now, but I can switch that. I can look at my radar cruise control. I can actually look at my start, stop, off settings. So I can actually change some of my start stop settings, which is really nice. I can keep it in standard or extended. So let's talk about the interior of the 2020. Well, in front of me, I have 2 gauges. On the left is my tachometer with coolant, and on the right is my speedometer with fuel. And then in the middle, I do get a screen just like the 2019, but this is very much updated. It's black and white with green accents, which I really, really like. I think it gives it a very classy look. And overall, it's just more conventional to what I'm used to. You know, I have a Fitbit watch, I have an iPhone, you know, everything is black and white and sleek. And so the 2019 wasn't as sleek as this. So my center information screen will tell me a lot. I can shift through here. Eco indicator, digital speed, fuel economy. We can go down here to driving support, which gives me a compass, which is really nice. Tells me which way the vehicle is pointing. My music, my all-wheel drive split, where the power is actually physically going. You can scroll over here. It actually zooms out, which is kind of a cool little feature. Pre-collision system, parking assist, rear cross traffic alert, blind spot monitoring. Everything is on. My tire pressure for all my tires. And then we're back to my all-wheel drive split, which is really, really cool. And it's very video game-like because it sort of zooms around the car, and I really like that. Then we just have my settings. I can turn all that stuff off. And then my messages. This would be if I had a check engine light or a low tire pressure, low fuel, things like that. On the steering wheel, I do have my volume and voice controls on the left, phone options, and on the right, I have all my selector buttons, as well as lane keep assist and my radar settings. On the steering wheel, the 2020, on the left, I do have my phone options, volume, just like the 2019. And on the right, I have my cruise control options, blind spot monitoring, things like that. They are a lot more in-depth here in the 2020. There are a lot more buttons on the steering wheel, but I overall like the steering wheel more, and the steering wheel in the 2020 is heated. The 2019 was not. To the left, here in the 2019, I do have my auto headlights, auto start stop off, tailgate, windshield wiper defrosters, and my parking sensors. All very nice. You know, they're very standard Toyota buttons. Everything in here looks very Toyota. I mean, this is the last year of this body style, which is obviously the point of this video. And so everything in here seems kind of 2015, honestly. That seems about right for all of these buttons and all this technology. To the left of me here in the 2020, we have automatic headlights, my tailgate button, and then my heated steering wheel are to the left. A lot fewer buttons, and the buttons look a lot more modern. On the door, I do have my memory seats, and then I have my power window options down below. All of them are automatic windows, which is really, really nice. On the door, I do have memory seats, power windows, power locks, power mirrors, but I also have this nice sort of wood grain-ish finish. Not sure if it's quite wood grain or not, but it looks pretty nice. In the center, I do have a little clock, same as the Prius. The Prius gets the same little digital clock. And then I have the infotainment system. Now, the biggest thing you're going to find between the 2020 and the 2019 most likely is the infotainment system, besides the outside. The exterior is really big difference, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But the infotainment system, this does not have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto here in the 2019. It does have satellite HD radio, and you can get a app from Toyota. Here's my biggest gripe, is I think Toyota should have changed over to Apple CarPlay way sooner. Here in the 2019, they were trying really, really hard to do their own thing. They wanted to have their own app. They didn't want to succumb to Apple CarPlay. But honestly, like Apple, like Google, like Disney, they just all do it the best. It's hard to compete. They just do it the best. You can't get faster shipping than Amazon. You just can't. They just do it the best. And so Toyota really tried to fight it, but then, alas, in 2020 they changed that. So let's hop back into the 2020 and talk about that radio. Now, this is a huge draw over the 2019. This infotainment system here in the 2020 is a lot nicer. First and foremost, I have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Huge game changer. Huge game changer. Toyota was one of the last ones to adopt it, and now that they have, I love this infotainment system so much. The buttons are great. It's a JBL system. It looks great. It looks fresh. It looks modern, and it's such a good working, good-looking system. So if you need Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, the 2020 is definitely something you should look into. Back here in the 2019, we do have climate controls down below the radio. Nothing really too crazy here. Rear defrosters, fan up and down, blah, blah, blah. Then I get a shelf and some buttons down on the center console. I have traction control off, a snow button, so that will essentially tell the all-wheel drive system, hey, focus. And then I have hill descent control and I can actually turn off all-wheel drive, which is interesting. Down below the head unit in the 2020, I do have my climate controls. The climate controls in this are vast. They are very, very plentiful here. First of all, I have heated and cooled seats, which is very, very nice. Heated and cooled is up here on the climate. Then I have off, I have windshield wiper defrosters, which the 2019 had. Remember, that was off to the left. Now it's here in the center. Rear climate, I can tell the vehicle that there's no one in the back seat, so it'll just heat my section, not the whole giant car, which the 2020 Prius does this as well, but it's a lot more useful here in the Highlander because there's 3 rows. You're not gonna heat, the rest of the bus. You're just gonna heat yourself. I really like that. And then, of course, heated and cooled seats for the passenger as well. Then I have my hazard switches, and coming down to the center, I have my USB in, 2 USB chargers, and then a traditional 12-volt outlet that you would find in any other car. Then we come to the shifter and cup holders. My gripe with the shifter here in the 2019 is the fact that they've been using this shifter in every single car since essentially the beginning of time. I don't literally mean that, but they've used this thing forever. If you go into a 2001 Toyota SUV, it will have the same shifter. I call it the jigsaw because there's no real button. You just kind of work your way around. Lexuses still have this. I mean, it's not a bad shifter. It's just a very dated shifter. They've used it in everything. I feel like if you were to break apart in the shifter, you could find another one within 35 feet of you at all times. I mean, that's just how common these shifters really are. Again, I'm not saying that they're bad. They're just very dated. Now, the shifter of the 2020 is updated. It's no longer the jigsaw shifter that I mentioned in the previous portion of this review. The 2019 had the jigsaw, blah, blah, blah. This is a nice tried and true. It feels like the Prius shifter. It feels like the Corolla shifter, Camry. I mean, it's a pretty basic Toyota shifter as well, but it's the new Toyota shifter. And so it just helps the vehicle feel a lot more modern, and I really, really like that. Down below the shifter, here in the 2019, we do have 3 levels of heated seats, which are dials. Again, very dated way of doing heated seats. But they work fantastically. This car only has 18 miles on it, so I'm pleasantly enjoying the full heat of the seats. Then the very, very center console of the 2019 has this sort of split opening here, and so it does have a lot of storage here in the center. A lot of storage. I don't really like these clamshell opening things. They're kind of hard to understand at first. I got the hang of it now, but still not a fan. Down below the shifter, we do have a couple different modes. We actually do have a sport mode, eco mode, and normal mode, which I really, really like. I do get that sort of customization that we didn't get in the 2019. The 2019 didn't really have drive modes. Now, to the right here in the 2020, we do have power parking brake, auto hold. Something that was missing from the 2019 was the auto hold button. So when I come up to a stop, can hit auto hold, press the brakes a little bit extra hard, and then I can take my foot off the brake and the car will remain stationary. Then all I have to do is just put my foot lightly back onto the gas and it lets off on the brake automatically. It's not going to destroy your brakes or anything. Then down at the bottom, we do have similar buttons to the 2019 that it had up front. They've now been moved to the back. I do have traction control off. I do have that same snow button, so hey, focus. All-wheel drive, hill descent control, and the automatic start-stop off. In the 2019, that was off to the left. Now it is here in the center console. I like that they sort of cleaned up the left a lot because I don't really usually look at the left for my buttons. I normally look in the right or in the center console, and I like the fact that they've moved it all here, and it's still tactile buttons. It's not all weird touch screens and things like that. We also get mud and sand, rock, and dirt modes. So you can push it for normal, but you can't put it into mud and sand, dirt, and rock. I mean, that's just so customizable. That's awesome. The seats are nice and comfortable. They are leather, like I said, heated, 2 different memory settings. They are power, obviously. Anything you want from a modern seat in an SUV, you get here in the Highlander Limited from 2019. The seats are nice and comfortable. They are leather, like I said, heated, memory, essentially the same that you'll find in the 2019, although these feel more comfortable here in the 2020. These feel more comfortable. They seem to have heated up a lot better. It feels like the heating pattern is actually a lot nicer. It's a lot more on my full back, where the 2019 was more just towards one portion of my back. But we do have back seats, so we'll climb into the back seat of the 2020 as well. All right, so we're in the back seat of the 2019 Toyota Highlander Limited, and I do have two captain's chairs, although you can opt for a bench seat if that's something that you'd like, because then 3, 3, and 2, you can carry 8. This only carries 7, but I like the big captain's chairs. I get this nice sort of armrest that I can't put down. There we go. Okay, so you have to go all the way up and then back down. Okay. I have my own climate controls down here, vents up and down. I don't actually have vents directly in the ceiling. I do have 2 up here and back here, but not sort of right in front of me, if that's something you care about. I do have these lights, grab handles. This sunshade can actually come down. Automatic windows, 1 touch down, 1 touch up. I do have a 12-volt, I think a regular wall outlet down there, and then 2 USB chargers, which is super, super nice. I'm not going to fold up the rear seats just because this is a brand new car and it has all of the stuff in it and comes with all the extras. But luckily enough, I will park the 2020 next to the 2019 and we can look at both rear hatches together. So let's go look at the rear seat of the 2020 and then we'll look at both hatches. All right, so we're in the back of the 2020 Toyota Highlander, and obviously, first off, right off the bat, I do have a bench seat as opposed to the captain's chairs of the 2019. However, still get a sunshade, still get power windows. I do have these nice wood accents in the door now, something that was lacking from the 2019. But I do have the same, similar, it's a different look, but I do have the same sort of climate controls, temperature, auto, foot, stuff like that. And then I do have 2 USB ports and a outlet down below as well. But because this is a bench seat, I actually do have a center cup holders, which is really nice. I have lights up here, nice and bright. The vents are right in front of me. So like I mentioned in the 2019, I was like, oh, there's no vents right in front of me. These vents are right, essentially on top of me, which is really, really neat. And I like that a lot. But let's go look at both hatches. All right, so we'll start off with the 2019. Got a little light here. Obviously, third row comes up, but tie downs, little boxes here. Nothing really too crazy, although it is nice. It's a really big space. Got this nice Toyota mat down here. Really, really nice. Let's jump over to the 2020. Different mat, actually says Highlander in a different color. That's really nice attention to detail. But same tie downs. No. Oh my goodness. No light. They don't have a light right here like the 2019. Wow, a travesty. Tie downs here, here. Really just great space in both vehicles. Again, third row does come up. These are both third row vehicles, but I mean, really just great space. And that whole row goes down. And those two do go down as well. So something to think about. Now we have to talk about the looks. This is where you're really going to notice the differences between the 2020 and the 2019. So let's talk about the 2019 first. Well, I think it is sort of dated at this point, even though this car has never been titled or registered before. This is a zero owner car technically. It looks dated to me. Then again, it doesn't look bad. I'm not saying that this is a bad looking SUV, but it does look dated. So let's jump into the 2020 and let me tell you why I like it a lot more. Now, we got to talk about the looks of the 2020. It looks great. And here's why it looks great. Last year, for the 2019 model year, they updated the RAV4. The jump from the 2018 to 2019 RAV4 is the same jump that they made from the 2019 to the 2020 Highlander. It was just a year behind. And so this Highlander has been redesigned to look like the RAV4, and I have to say that is awesome. I think it looks so modern, I think it looks sleek, and it looks like the RAV4, it looks similar now. The RAV4 really kind of stuck out last year, and now, the siblings are starting to catch up, and I think overall it looks great. This color is called Blueprint, and overall I have to say this is the better looking of the 2 years. I don't think they became uglier in their second generation, unlike the Mazda Speed 3. So overall for the 2019, I have to say that I actually really like this SUV. I think it is a great quality SUV, and if you're looking for something bigger, something with a third row, something, larger than a RAV4, then definitely this is a great option. You don't really have to look elsewhere. And I think this is a really well spec'd 2019 V6, all-wheel drive. I think that's pretty good. But I will leave my true closing thoughts to the 2020. And so here are my closing thoughts for the 2020 Highlander. I think that this is an absolutely great SUV. I think if you're going to go Toyota, you need a bigger size than the RAV4. Again, this is a great option with the 2020. Which would I buy? I would buy the 2020. Far and away, the 2020. Apple CarPlay as standard makes life so much better. Reason number 2, it looks more sleek, it looks more modern, it looks correct. It just looks better. And so here's why I talk about that, because, oh, it looks so better, blah, 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 whatever. If I'm going to spend a lot of money on a car, which really anything over $15 for me is a lot of money. So this is a lot of money. If I'm going to spend that much money on a car, I want to look in the garage in the morning before I lift it up. When I'm still groggy, I want to look at my car and I want to smile. I don't want to say, I should have gotten something else. I don't want buyer's remorse, essentially. And I think looks really help that, because this looks so modern. It keeps up with modern cars. My big gripe with Cadillac up until this year was the fact that a 2019 Cadillac CTS looked like a 2010 Cadillac CTS. Why? If I'm going to spend the money on something brand new, it should look, it should act, it should be brand new. And that is what this is. This is brand new. You don't see any on the road quite yet. It's something different. It's something unique. And honestly, you don't have to worry about first year car problems with this. It has the same motor, has the same transmission, has the same drivetrain. It just looks better. So it's not, don't think of it as like a first year car. I've always been taught never buy the first year of something. The very first iPhone had tons and tons of bugs. The very first, was it Galaxy S9 or whatever cell phone, was blowing up. Never buy, the very first year of those hoverboard stupid toy things were blowing up as well. And so I've always been taught, my parents have always said, don't buy the first year of something. Let it sort of grow and change. The very first year Teslas didn't even have most of the features they have now. But this, you don't have to worry about that. Because while it looks different, they've added things, they've refined. It's more of a refined than a new start. They've definitely refined the Highlander. And so this is just a better experience. I enjoy this more. This is good. And so my final thoughts are, if you can make the payments, if you can make the price of a brand spanking new, hot off the truck Toyota Highlander, get the 2020. But if you can't, and I understand everyone's social and monetary situations are different, if you cannot afford a 2020, the 2019 is still very good. It's a very nice SUV. It has years and years and years and years and years and years and years of research and development behind it. Get the 2019, get the 2020, get whatever you want. The 2020 is better, but just because something's better doesn't mean the opposition isn't good. Thank you so much to Toyota of Naperville for letting me take out both of their 2019 and 2020 Highlanders. This has been an awesome comparison, and I'm really happy to see the progress that Toyota has made. They're really stepping up their game. I've seen it with Mazdas. Mazdas have stepped up their game. The 2014 to 2018 CX-5, that 4-year difference or whatever, vastly different. This 1-year difference, vastly different. I mean, it's so great to see cars moving in this direction where they're not unaffordable, but they're just nice. They're just plain nice. We are spoiled by how nice these cars are, and that is all thank you to Toyota of Naperville for letting me take both these out. Their information is up on the screen. If you don't want a Highlander, please check out the RAV4. I did a 2019 RAV4 review. That was great. Another great leap, another great amount of technology. There's one pulling onto the test track right now. They're just great cars. They're really just great cars. But if Toyotas aren't your thing, still go to toyotanaperville.com. They have hundreds of used cars for sale all the time, and I cannot thank them enough. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really like to. Take care, guys.
Aside from my soul.